What's up, guys? This is Flatline MMA, and I'm Bloomin'.
Here with Brew. We're excited for a banger card here. Last time they were in Paris, September 2022, they gone to Ivasa. That was a banger fight. I remember Vittori against Whitaker. That was a banger fight. So hopefully they can keep it up here in 2024.
Yeah, looks like it's actually a pretty underrated card in my opinion. There's a lot of solid fights. I think there'll be some good finishes on this card, and especially for a free fight night, looking like a pretty good, pretty stacked card that's not in Abu Dhabi. So we'll take it. All right, kicking off the fight night: Balaj Oki versus Chris Duncan. Group, who do you got?
Wow. Yeah, real banger here to start off the night. It's actually kind of a fun fight. I can't lie. I will roll with the favorite. I'm seeing minus 190. I'll roll with Oki. They're both about the same. I mean, 9-1, 11-2 from Duncan. There's nothing really I expect. I mean, if Duncan were to win, I would say by knockout. I mean, I believe he has 7 of his 11 wins by knockout, so I'll stay by that. And if Oki wins, might be a little contrarian here, but I'll go by decision.
Yeah, I mean, we're riding together on the first one. I got Oki as well. I just think he's came off the Contender Series. He won earlier this year by split. I don't hate it. I think that he'll get the win here, and a little bit younger, but he's got a better reach. Younger, about the same height, but he's got 1.5 inch reach. I'll take Oki here. Looks like a more powerful guy, more entertaining, and I think Scottish people are weak, so I think Oki's gonna win it. Moving
All
on.
right.
Norma Cornoli versus Jaquin Cavalcantini.
All right, first snap of the night. Starting off early, really helping us out here. Hopefully we get them all done in the early prelims. I usually really try to break down women's fights. I really try to give my expertise in this, but it's impossible. They're both the same. They both have one loss, 7 wins, 8 wins, same height, 5'8", 5'7". The only thing I'm going off of really is age and reach. Big advantage for Jacqueline, and she looks a little more feminine. So that probably doesn't help my case. But I will go with Jacqueline by boring decision.
Um, I don't even want to spoil it, and that is, I swear we haven't even talked about this beforehand. Literally, my only note, and ironically, you say that, is more masculine. My handwriting is terrible, but that
Yeah.
says more masculine, and I'm taking Norman Cornoli because she's more masculine. Just
All
the
right.
short hair, the tattoos all up and down her legs and up and down her arms. She is not trying to look attractive whatsoever. She's committed to the game, and yeah, I'll ride cannoli. I don't really care what else. It's probably when I'm ordering my food or eating it.
Yeah, and I love that they don't even have odds up for this fight. I was trying to look, I couldn't
Ve-
even find them. I'm
Vegas doesn't
guessing,
even know how to read it, so
yeah, it's impossible to read. It's a guy against a woman, but
yeah.
the woman's way younger, so it's a tough read. But moving on to the next, we got Daniel Perez against Victor Olotamaririno. Sure, I said that right. And two flyweights, pretty similar, same height, a little taller from Victor, and same age, a little older from Daniel. Hard to read. I mean, I don't really know. These guys both look like shit cans to me, but I will go with Victor by submission.
You got Victor. I got Daniel Perez. I gotta respect Spain a little bit here. He's like, closer to home. He's gonna probably have some people pop out. It's one of those rare times where he's got a local fight, probably in his UFC career, depending on how far he goes. Um, I think that UFC 306 proved that Mexicans just can't fight. So I don't think Victor has much to offer realistically, and I'll take Perez just going off the trend of UFC 306 and how bad it was. That unless you're Diego Lopez or Raul Rosas, and Diego Lopez is a Brazilian basically, I'll take Perez. I'll fade the Mexicans here. I'm just gonna keep it going from 306 2 weeks ago.
All right.
Yeah. Moving on. You've
Yeah,
got
on to the next. We got another snooze. I was basically falling asleep in my chair just looking at this. really disappointed, but at least we're getting him out early. It's Alina Perez against Daria. Not saying that last
Zelen
name. Something
Zelensiakova,
Russian. Yeah,
Zelensiakova, something like that.
something could be like I don't know. Uh, I'm going with Alina and Perez. I actually remember her on the or I believe it was early summer. She beat Jocelyn Edwards, and I believe she was an underdog in that fight. I remember she was really fucking short. So I don't know. It's a woman's fight. I don't even think that matters. It's really impossible to break these down. So I'm just gonna say again, Alina and Perez by boring decision.
Yeah, I'll say Alina Perez. I agree. Once again, she's a more masculine fighter for sure. She's a short, stout, like pig, basically.
All
Not
right.
much reach. She's pretty short. You know what I mean? She's kind of got like a very wide build, very lesbian-esque build. She's got very large arms, very wide shoulders, broad shoulders, and big fat nose. Just very unattractive, and she's gonna have a lot of anger. I'm not saying Zelensiakova is attractive by any means, but she is 10 times better looking than this chick, and I know Perez is, hating her for it for sure. So I'll go
Mhm.
Perez. And I'll parlay the two women's fights and take the over on both. Probably get about even money on that.
Well, I if Vegas offers that, that's just free money.
Take the overs, people. These women's fights are going 15 minutes. All right, moving on. One of the biggest favorites on the card, Taylor Lopoulos, my bad, and Vince Morales. Here, I've got Taylor Lopoulos. I think it's pretty, even though they're both older, 30-year-old fighters, like early 30 fighters. Morales has been in the UFC. He got spit out, then went on a couple runs. He won a couple different promotions. I think he was on Ryzen, and he was on one other. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think not Cage Warrior, something
UFL.
else. Yeah, UFL. He's on a couple, and then like they bring him back randomly on this card. It seems like he kind of earned it because he did have some good fights with some finishes, but they're obviously just setting up this Lapalus guy to go on a run in France. You know what I mean? They're not bringing this guy back for this guy to win for the USA in France. It doesn't make any sense. It's just supposed to be a layup for them to beat up on the guy. He's a little bit bigger, but somehow has a shorter reach. Lapalus is 5'6" with a 73-inch reach. Morales is 5'9" with a 70-inch. I'll take Lapalus all day. They're going to give France a couple layups on the card, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah, from a betting standpoint, it actually is a lot more interesting than you would think. So you look at the records and you think Lapalus pretty easily, but then you see who Morales lost to and do in his first UFC stint. He had a pretty long career. I believe it was what 8 fights, and he lost a good amount. But those fighters that he lost to, Jonathan Martinez, who's ranked, Chris Gutierrez, who is ranked, Song Yadong, who's ranked. I mean, he's not losing. Benito Lopez, who's right outside right now, he's not losing to nobodies. I think it's an interesting fight. And looking at the odds, I'm not saying if it was money line, I would say this, but I will go with Moraes just based on his. He's on a good 5 fight win streak. I believe he's finished 4 of the 5. He's coming back, even though I'll take the plus 325 on a guy who's lost a great competition
So that's one of your
and
biggest
beat.
dogs of the night.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest for me. I mean, he's I think he has all the making stuff, said Lapalus. I'm not saying he will win, but I'm saying at the number, I'll take that and I'll take the stab on the underdog.
Huh. All right, I respect it. All right, moving on. This is actually a pretty stacked prelims. What is 8 fights deep? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 fights deep prelims for a fight night. Pretty solid by the UFC. Pretty rare. Another layup, but it's not even a French layup. It's a Slovakian layup, but I know it's a short notice fight too. But Ludovic Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. Roberts is another one of these journeymen who he was in the UFC, got out, and then he was on the Ultimate Fighter with Chandler and Conor McGregor, and he was one of those guys that lost. He made it all the way to the main event or the finals of Tough, lost, and now somehow they're still bringing him in. He's already gotten finished like multiple times. Uh, I just think it's a huge. This is one of the biggest layups on the card. Ludovic Klein to just be able to knock this dude out. Robert's been knocked out recently, and I see this just happening the same way.
Yeah, I honestly completely agree. I actually saw Roosevelt Roberts in person back in 2019. I remember he's this undefeated prospect. He was going to fight Vink Pinkel, if I'm sure the hardcores know. And he lost to him by decision. I remember thinking that this guy sucks. He went on, what, a two-fight win streak after them, got submitted by Jim Miller, got knocked out by Ignacio Bahamondes, which he looked great at 2 weeks ago. So I have no shame in that. But he won two out of UFC, got cut, and then he lost two to, as you said, Austin Hubbard in the semifinal, and then some dude on the Pro Chaka Pahea uh, fight card. So yeah, I think Roosevelt Roberts sucks, and Klein just beat Thiago Moises, who's kind of a journeyman, kind of the old fighting nerd, and I got Klein by submission actually.
Yeah, we got a fighting nerd next week for the for UFC 307. They got Ruffy on there, so I'll be riding that for sure. Just off topic a little bit. Gotta love the fighting nerds.
For
All right,
sure.
so we'll ride Lopoulos there. I mean, Love It Climb, my bad. And then a couple heavy hitters back to back. I like that this card isn't stacked with a bunch of small fighters. It seems like UFC is trying to get a lot of finishes going in this fight night too. It's not trying to be a fucking snooze fest. They're getting a lot of big dudes in there that hopefully aren't gonna sniff dick. And yeah, who do you got for this one? Umar Sy versus Dawon Jung.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pull out another underdog here. I think a lot of the Asian talent kind of sucks these days. I know obviously we got Korean Zombie back in the day, but we got who Song Yadong, but there's not. You see all these Asian prospects,
Yeah,
Tatsu Atairo, we don't know what he'll be, but he looks like the most promising. But
those
we'll
smaller
see
weight
against
classes
Rividal,
too. You don't see. It's very rare to have a
right?
big Asian in general, let alone one that's athletic enough to be in the be in MMA.
They are very weak.
Yeah.
So all that being said, I'll go with Psy. Just I'm not going to bet it because it's just too big of a number and too much could happen in the big weight classes. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to pick Psy.
Yeah, so Dawon Jung, he's on a 3 fight loss streak. I have it written here. He's lost twice by finish, one by decision. I think one was a submission and the other one was a KO. I didn't write that down, but Umar Sy is a very powerful guy. I'll take Umar inside the distance. I don't know exactly what they can offer. I might be able to see it in here, but no, they're
And
gonna have
I
goes the
would
distance over.
say that Jung did beat Kennedy in Jekyll, which is a good win, but also Kennedy is a very chinny tard, as we came to realize. So I don't
Yeah.
know really how much I'm going to take out of that when he's lost these kickboxers, Dustin Jacoby, Devin Clark, and Carlos Olberg all in a row. So he keeps going against these massive kickboxers. I don't see anything changing in this fight. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely follow Cider.
Yeah, just a huge favorite. Not really bettable, but yeah, Psy all the way. It's another layup for France. All right, Ion Cutelaba versus Ivan Urslan. Cutelaba, an insane journeyman in the UFC. His last fights, he's on like a long. I think he's like 1-4 or 1-5 in his last 6 fights or whatever. And going
Yeah.
against Ivan Urslan, another short notice fight, but he's stepping up. And he's like a 50-50 fighter too. I was checking it out. Obviously, I haven't watched any of his actual fights, but I saw. I think he's like 2-2 in his last 4 fights, something like that.
He's from Croatia.
Yeah.
So,
So,
got to
um,
ride with that.
exactly. I have it written down here. Urslan debut fight on short notice against a finish or be finish. Ion Cutelaba. Urslan defended the native land. I'll take Evelyn Urslan with a little plus money too against Cutelaba, who I think he won his second to last fight and lost his last fight, so still not really there
Yeah.
anymore. He's just kind of a fringe top 15 outside of the 15 guy. I'll take Urslan all day.
Yeah. And I remember I picked Ion to beat Felipe Lins. He just got chewed up with leg kicks and got destroyed. Remember, I picked him to beat Kennedy and Jekyll when he got destroyed. And that I remember there was a main event that got pulled out on that card, and they forced that to be the main event. Horrible card. So, what do you expect? He got submitted by Johnny Walker, got submitted by Ryan's fan, not known jiu-jitsu guys, but
Yeah.
so this guy is just trying to, I'm guessing, just fight out his contract. He lost Magman Ankalaev twice, which isn't anything bad, but I'm gonna bet on Urslan to defend our native land. Believe in him.
Yeah, especially on even
And
money against a guy who's been this bad recently. I don't care how short the notice is. I'll take the fresh talent all day, even though he's a little bit older. He's 32, but I agree.
for sure.
Awesome. All right, moving on. We'll both ride Urslan here to take it over. Now on to the main card. I think that's actually a pretty solid finish, though. I think Omar Sy will probably finish Jung, and then I think Urslan will finish Kudalaba. I mean, it's not even a pay-per-view, so it's not like it matters that much, but very solid prelims leading into the main card to put some good energy into the fight night.
For sure.
We got Fares Yam versus Matt Frivola. Frivola hasn't fought since 2023 when he got finished by, I think it was BSD, wasn't it? He got
Yep,
finished by
by head
BSD.
kick. That's crazy.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. I respect that he took a lot of time off. He's a big KO guy too for Vola. So me personally, I see it as Frivola's gonna win here. I think he's gonna ruin the main card for France right away. I think Ziyama a little bit of a pussy. So French and weak. He's a little
Same.
bit younger, but I think he's a weaker guy. I'll take Frivola. He's got the time. He's healed from his knockout. Ziyama isn't exactly a finisher by strikes, anyways. But I'll take Frivola, especially plus money.
Yeah, and the last time Favola got knocked out by Terrence McKinney in 7 seconds, he took off basically 8 months, 9 months, came back, went on a 3-fight KO streak in the first round against some really good guys. Drew Dober does not get finished. Ottoman Azaitar, who was a big favorite in that fight, and that was crazy. He's beat Jalen Turner. Next up, he's lost to Armin Sarukian. It's not a bad loss. So I really like Favola here for sure. I'll take him by probably KO. Ride the easy money. And probably get, I would guess, 150, 175 on KO for Vola.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
and
And then
then, yeah, if we look at the next fight, you got two journeymen, two guys, not the best record, but they are giving Christ. Morgan, that's a chick's name. Guerrera, is that how you say
Charrier.
it? Charrier
Yeah, it's French.
against Gabriel
Charrier.
Miranda. Yeah, Gabriel Miranda.
Yep.
Two kind of pussy names, some chick names. I don't know who's naming these guys. I can't believe this line minus 850 against plus 500 for a guy that's 19, 10, and 1. Doesn't really make sense to me, but I'll just play a no bet on here. I get that the guy Gabriel got knocked out by BSD. He beat Shane Young by sub. That's a good win. So I don't understand the line. I don't see where they're really coming from, but maybe it's just because the dude's from France and they think he's going to roll over him. I get that he's 11-0 in KOs and he's never been finished, but I don't know. I'm not really liking this guy. The only saving grace he has is he had a close fight with Shepe Marskal, who looked great in his last fight. So I'll roll with the big favorite and just never bet it though.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that you just gotta ride the big favorite here. It's not really a bettable fight at all. You can't even like try to like buy specific win at all or anything like that for Charrier, but I'll take him. Miranda, yeah, lost to BSD and then he beat Shane Young, but those were also a year apart. He hasn't fought since like late or early 2023. It's been over a year since like his last fight, or right around a year since his last fight. This guy's fighting once a year, and he's only 2 fights into the UFC, and he's 34. Like, you're just a fucking bitch. Like, you need to get in there and start fighting. You can't be like, what's the stat? It's like people over 35 can't like. I'm not saying this guy's going for a belt run anyways, but like
Won't win a
people,
belt.
yeah, people over
0
35 like
35
never
and
win belts. Like, you got to get Morant. Like, obviously this guy isn't there to win a belt. He's there to collect a paycheck, and I don't know what he's doing in Brazil, hanging out in the favelas and shit, probably being fucking dirty. But I'll take Charrier in France. I think that this one of those layups for him. I think France is gonna have a rough opener with Frivola, and I think Charrier is gonna get him the momentum back to be 1-1 on the main card.
yep.
All right, moving on. We've got Kevin Gisette versus Brian Battle, base Brian Battle. I'm going Brian Battle here all day. I'm kind of surprised that he's such a big favorite, be minus 180. It's not exactly huge, but I thought it'd be a little bit closer than that because these guys got similar records. But I'll take Brian Battle all day, a little bit longer than him. He was piecing up Angelusa, is that his name? Angelusa. In their
Yeah,
last fight until the fake eye poke and then like the whole drama happened where they're all screaming at each other's faces. The guy was
I
saying he's
was
gonna,
beating your
yeah,
ass.
and then the guy was like, "I'll kill you!" Like the guy all of a
Yeah,
sudden like wanted to fight after the fight was over. It was like a cop Evloev situation, or not Evloev, Makayev situation, mixed up
they're all the
inbreds
same.
there. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll take Brian Battle all day. I don't know inside the distance, but I think Brian Battle's a really solid fighter, great striker, and just set to striker two. I'll take Battle all day to be the better fighter.
Yeah, I got Battle as well. I mean, he's only lost to Renat, the dude who's another inbred. And I mean, Renat's that not that impressive recently. He's really shown that. Who was it against? Nicholas Dalby. He went to a tough decision
Yeah,
with
yeah,
him. I
yeah.
mean, so it's not looking like that was a great loss, but I understand how he lost to him. And besides that, he's been on pretty much a tear. I'll follow him. I know that other dude. He's kind of mid. I know he came up in the regional scene with JDM. I know he lost to JDM. That's one of his losses. That's not a bad loss. And then, I haven't really seen anything that's that impressive in base brand battle. Gotta follow him with the money. I'll take the favorite, and he'll definitely be in one of my parlays.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's exactly what I was gonna say after you were done. I was gonna say, yeah, Brian Battle's an easy parlay piece. Might put like a little bit on a money line. Try to get a unit back, 2 units to win one, something like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
Brian Battle. I just think he has an issue with his ground
perfect.
game, and that's why I lost to the inbred. But this guy isn't taking him to the ground. It's two strikers, and I think that he'll win a striking match against this dude 90% of the time. So, all right, moving on.
Yeah.
William Gomez versus Joe Anderson Brito. I think that this is another one of those Joe Anderson Brito. I'm kind of surprised they would put this on this card because I think that he's going to dominate Gomez and it's going to be a finish. This guy's a finisher, really entertaining fighter, and I look forward to his fights in the future too. He's only 29, and I think he's going to keep climbing up and be a real problem in featherweight. And featherweight's just one of the best divisions right now. And getting Joe Anderson Brito in the rankings too, like it's one of the best, most entertaining divisions by far.
Yeah, you look at Burrito's wins, they're kind of nuts. I mean, he beat for this young into his career. He beat Jack Shore, he beat Andre Philly, he beat Diego Lopez, he beat Chepe Mariscal. I mean, this dude, it's kind of wild that he's fighting, as you said, um, that he's fighting Gomez right now. And you look at the other side, Gomez, he lost his first two of three fights and then's been on a big win streak. One of those two losses were to Morgan Charrier, who's on this card lower. So I don't know. He's been on a tear, but I agree. Burrito's going to run through him, in my opinion.
He's not even crazy fighters either. He lost to Giannis Gamori. That's his most, or he beat Giannis Gamori. That's his most recent fight. They gave him this guy fucking cans. Gamori's the guy who just got dropped by Talb in like 30 seconds. So yeah, I agree. I mean, Jonathan Brito by whoever he wants. That'd be a pretty solid parlay. Brito Battle. Maybe throw Imavov in there. Go into the next fight. I've got Imavov all day against Brandon Allen. I think Brandon Allen is a bit of a homosexual. I don't think that he has
Yep.
much to offer in the middleweight division at all. Very mediocre fighter. And Yasin Imavov just got done beating at Cannonier. Cannonier, a little bit of an early stoppage, but I think he was going to finish him either way. It didn't really matter that much. And then I think Imavov's got a lot. Is at a great value. Be minus 210 against Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen, do you think he has anything for him?
No, I think Brendan Allen's somehow more homosexual than Israel Adesanya and DDP combined. I think that this guy is going to split decisions with Chris Curtis, who's the top 15 gatekeeper, and now they're giving him a guy who just beat Jared Cannonier. So I really don't understand why this is even that close. I think it
I
might,
agree.
in my opinion, it should be a 300 fight, not whatever it is at now. What is it? Just high or low 210, right?
Yeah, 210,
210,
minus 210.
175. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild to me. I mean, I'm flying on Imanov money. I think it actually will be by boring decision. I think he's just gonna point fight him and not let him get taken down. So I got Imanov all day. I think this is free cash.
Yeah, I think an easy two-piece is Imavov and Denis and Brito back-to-back. That's an easy two. It might get you even money, and then you could throw Battle in there. Battle's a little bit close just because you don't know exactly what the Shusek guy's got to offer for a striking match, but I don't know, maybe like, I mean, Frivola's already plus money, but like maybe Frivola, Imavov, Denis and Brito, three-leg parlay.
Yeah, that's actually my parlay. If you want to get to it, that is my parlay, and I was going to announce that after. But yeah, I think Imanov and Brito are the most sure things on the card, and then I like Frivola just spice it up. Should give us about 250 with two favorites, but then the plus 100. I'm guessing that would give around 250. And I like those odds for those three.
Yeah,
So I'm really just in my head, I'm really just getting plus 250 on Frivola to beat the pussy. So
yeah,
should be pretty free.
agreed. Yeah, so I don't think this is gonna be like a crazy fight by any means, but I think Imavov's gonna walk away with the win, no problem. So easy win for France. So they'll be what 1 and 2 on the card. Frivola, Charrier, Ryan Battle's gonna win. Denis and Brito's gonna win. No, they'll be 3 and 2 on the card if Imavov wins. If it goes the way that we're saying. And then final fight of the night. Money Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis. Money Moicano finally gets a headliner against Benoit, coming off the staph infection loss to Dustin Poirier, getting dropped. Kind of coming back, not insanely soon, but he's got enough time to recover. You just don't know how that chin's gonna be. Uh, in my personal opinion, I think, especially at plus 245, I'll take Moicano all day. I think Benoit, as we saw against Poirier and his retard guillotines, like Moicano's a great black belt jiu-jitsu fighter. I think that not Moicano, Benoit coming in with all those retard takedowns and shit, trying to throw him down, it's not going to work against a guy like him. I think that he'll catch him in a submission. Just the way that like Benoit is so comfortable just getting his head stuck in those against Poirier. I think it's only going to take like 2 opportunities for Moicano to be able to submit this dude. And I don't think Benoit's going to tap. I think it'll probably be his unconscious face hitting the surface or just laying
Yeah,
there.
I really think I think that's a horrible take. Honestly, I think that's like horrible. I mean, you look at this dude Moicano's losses; all of them are actually against really top level comp. You do Ortega on his big win streak before he lost. He's lost to Aldo. He's lost to Chan Sung Jung. He's lost to Fazeev. But all of those have either been by KO or decision, and then, or I mean, KO or submission, and they got destroyed by RDA. I know it was on short notice, but if you remember, he got his face battered. I don't see much different happening in this fight. I think BSD has good wrestling, good top pressure, and great stand up, of course. I got BSD. I think Moicano's kind of a chinny tard. Now, yes, Jalen Turner is one of my guys, and maybe I'm still coping from that loss. But I got BSD by second round KO.
It's a bad choice. I don't see it personally. I think Benoit is just too comfortable getting his takedowns and getting his head stuck in places where a black belt that he hasn't really fought before with Moicano. I think it'll catch him, and I think that Benoit's not going to be able to get out of it at some point. And
Actually, Dustin Poirier is a black belt, so he has fought a black belt before. All good though.
Dustin Poirier is retarded.
All right.
Anyways, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. So we basically saw the whole main card the same way, except for the main event. If Moicano takes him down or doesn't take him down, but gets that submission and gets a huge win in France, it's not even a bad win. You know what I mean? Because like you gotta assume France has gotta like him anyways, because he's just such an entertaining fighter. But we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, I don't agree to disagree. I just fully disagree with you, and I think it's a ignorant take, and we'll talk about it more in the post fight reactions. But I'm excited to see you proven wrong.
Yeah, guys, we're working on our times. We're getting our fights up pretty early in the week. We got it up on a Tuesday. We're gonna watch the Contender Series, and it's gonna be a good week. We got everything up. We're getting our schedules down, and yeah. And next week, by the way,
Hey,
we'll talk about this for the preview. But next week, we're gonna do an in-person fight breakdown. Coming up to go see the Brew up in person. So we'll do a fight breakdown at his spot in the
right here.
prison cell. We'll do one. So we
Yep,
got that to
right
look
here
forward
at
to too.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be super fun. Maybe we'll do a little sparring for the people. It'll be a little vlog.
Yeah,
You never
we'll
know.
do an
We'll see how
IRL
it goes.
vlog. We'll have him walk around with some pads, and we'll try to have him fight some people in the street and shit, and we'll see what happens.
Oh,
But
I'll just fight you.
all right. So that was our picks for UFC Fight Night: Moicano versus Saint Denis in Paris. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you after the fights.
See you guys.
Peace.